So then there's this fourth stage of prosperity consciousness, which is what we call embodiment. This is when you have integrated your spiritual nature to the point where you are one with Source. And you transcend the whole idea of prosperity and material goods, and your life is about demonstrating spiritual principles to the entire planet. Now, we all have moments of this. This is not an avatar that's brought from another universe here to teach us that. This is our own journey. We move through the third stage, which is called the bodhisattva stage, where we realize that we cannot become enlightened unless everybody's enlightened. And our job is to support and empower and equip others to become enlightened. The fourth stage is when we simply transcend all of that. So some examples in our lifetime are Mahatma Gandhi. He's the one who said, be the change you want to see. You see, victim thinking wants other people to change so they'll feel okay. And co-creative people say, well, you change first and I'll change second. If you do this, then I'll do that. And surrender living says, I'm here to do this, and if you want to change or not, I'm detached from, my good does not depend on you doing anything. I'm here to serve. I'm here to express love. And the embodied living is to be the change that you're called to be, that you want to see, and modeling it. Now, Suze, I think you wrote that song, right?
You and I did.
No, the Gandhi, the Gandhi one. Yeah, so Suze took Gandhi's words. I wish I could speak like Gandhi, but I can't. It's got a kind of Indian accent. It would be kind of funny. But she took those words and brought them into a song and made it accessible to all of us as a chant, as a way to deliver her gift, which is extraordinary, and empower and equip all of us to begin thinking differently on a day-to-day basis. Suze uses music as her ministry of transformation. She mentioned this other song, The Children's Blessing, which now that she broke my anonymity, I guess I have to talk about it for the video. I asked Suze if she would be willing to change the song that we sang for Blessing the Kids. We were singing the same song over and over and over again, and the kids liked it, but it was getting tedious. And so she said, well, what do you want me to say? So I just dashed off a few concepts. She took pretty much my exact words, I think. I'm not positive of that, but pretty much my exact words, put it to the melody, and made the song that we sing now. And you know what? I haven't gotten tired of it once. So there's this process of Spirit doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves. That when you're in this embodied living, you transcend the how you're going to accomplish something, and you surrender into the idea that Spirit is manifesting your good all of the time. And you just simply take the next authentic action, whatever that is, however irrational that might seem to your ego, because you've already surrendered a long time ago, looking good and being right. Right? You're way past that. If you're living embodied living, you're on principle. Who would think, just to take an example of this, that any rational person would say, I will not eat anymore until there's peace? Between 1 million Hindus and 1 million Muslims who have been fighting for thousands of years. Who would ever have the integrity to say that and then say it on like national TV or on the radio back then and then stand in that truth to the point of near death, knowing that the closer they got to death, the more pressure it put on all these radicals that were fighting and arguing, and it brought about tremendous transformation. The whole continent of India changed because of one man's integrity. I wish that I had that level of integrity more often. I can see glimpses of it out in the future every now and then. There's times when we are called to surrender, and there's times we're called to stand. Nelson Mandela is another one of my heroes. He was a radical activist for liberation of the black population, the native population in South Africa. And they used radical means, including assassination, including vandalism, including terrorism. They were terrorists by any typical definition, for the cause of creating liberation for all of the folks. Not too different from how the British saw the American revolutionaries, by the way. Not too different, honestly. So he was imprisoned for most of his life. And when he was in prison, what he did was began teaching the other prisoners. And so they sent him to an island so he would be isolated, so he couldn't even teach the other prisoners. And then they wanted to have an escape so they could kill him during the escape. And the CIA actually discovered that and exposed it. So he is in prison, and the universe is putting pressure on South African government. There's boycotts, and there's all sorts of publicity, and companies aren't doing business with them, and so they begin to feel some pressure. And they decide to offer him a pardon, to let him out of prison. But he has to renounce the revolution. He's been in prison like 20 years at this point. This is a South African prison. This isn't an American prison. This is rough prison life. And you know what he says? I can't be free unless we're all free. I won't come out of jail. I won't renounce freedom and liberty for everybody just to get my own freedom. And he ended up staying in jail 4 more years. This is embodied living. This is living purely on principle, doing things that are utterly irrational to the egoic, self-centered, short-term thinking mind. This is a calling. You are one with God. You recognize that you are source in the moment, and you are called to do the most magnificent, most profound things that you're capable of doing. Now, all of us are not Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. Some of us are musicians or fathers or spouses or ministers or prayer chaplains. Someone's going to be serving as a prayer chaplain at the prayer altar this afternoon rather than socializing with their friends. That's sacrificial service. That's sacred service. They're giving up a short-term gain, a chance to connect with and socialize and network and hit the snack bar over there, and they're doing prayer work for those who need prayer work. This is a small example. In this community, all of us are called to ministry. This is a highly collaborative environment. And you'll notice that if you feel drawn to be part of this community, you're going to find a way to serve very quickly. And the folks who don't want to serve don't stick around, honestly, or they come intermittently. Because the way this community works is as a collaborative environment where we're all empowered, we're all equipped. We're not in receivership, we're in stewardship. We take 100% responsibility for what we are creating together. This isn't the old pastor flock model where I know all the answers and I tell you what to do. Or Debbie and I know all the answers. This is about us working together to create something that's never been created before. Every single Sunday is different, isn't it? And not just because I use different jokes.